requirements. Contact us to help prepare your farm today. Request your free visit at www.fdacs.gov/OFRR. That's www.fdacs.gov/OFRR.
This is my farm, and on it I'm raising corn. I'm raising soybeans, and sometimes wheat. I'm raising chickens, and a few horses. I'm raising catfish and crappies down at the pond. But above all that, before everything else, I'm raising my kids.
You're a parent first, farmer second. Do all you can to make your farm safe for children. Visit cultivatesafety.org for help protecting the most important thing you'll ever raise.
The United States has long prided itself in our ability to feed the world. Administration leaders have taken another step to do just that. The U.S. Department of Agriculture and the U.S. Agency for International Development are drawing down the full balance of the Bill Emerson Humanitarian Trust. It's part of an effort to provide $670 million in food assistance to countries in need as a result of Putin's invasion of Ukraine. The USDA says the world is suffering from historic levels of global food insecurity. Available estimates suggest an additional 40 million people could be pushed into poverty and food insecurity as a result of Russia's aggression. USAID will use $282 million to procure U.S. food commodities for 6 countries facing severe food insecurity. USDA will provide $388 million in additional funding through the Commodity Credit Corporation to cover shipping costs. I'm Sabrina Halverson for the Southeast AgNet.
April showers bring May flowers and unbeatable lawn and garden prices at Rural King. Like this bad boy 54-inch zero-turn mower for just under $4,000 cash. Or this DeWalt 25-foot extension cord, just $24.98. Or assorted mulch, starting at $1.99 a bag. Shop now at RuralKing.com or your neighborhood Rural King, America's farm and home store.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
For today, it'll be beautiful with plenty of sunshine. We'll reach a daytime high of 84 to 86. Clear skies tonight with a low 61 to 65. For tomorrow, it'll be pleasant with plenty of sunshine. Tomorrow, we'll reach a high of 83 to 85. Taking a look at Thursday, mostly sunny skies. Another pleasant day on tap with a high 80 to 83. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm forecaster Drew Shannon.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Join Gary and Don Crawford of Pinnacle Retirement Advisors for Retirement with Pinnacle, Saturday mornings at 9 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Don't miss Retirement with Pinnacle with Gary and Don Crawford, Saturday mornings at 9. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
This hour of Ocala Talks is brought to you in part by Blockers Furniture. Go see all their specials at blockersfurniture.com.
Auto repair with personal care. We know what we're talking about. Matt Gibbs and the guys over at Sunrise Automotive will treat you right. We'll treat you right.
Welcome back. It is Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Auto Repair with personal care. Hey, Matt, I don't know if you heard or not, but phone lines aren't working.
Uh-oh. What's Sonny going to do?
Well, he's going to listen to what you have to say. So I wanted to talk to you about something today because it's broke in the Wall Street Journal yesterday.
Okay.
It's the first time I've seen any publication write about it.
Okay.
And I know that it's probably because Elon Musk has fallen out of favor with the elite crowd because
the elite crowd.
He likes free speech and he bought Twitter and everything, so. But so that's why they're probably going after him. But the Wall Street Journal yesterday wrote a very big article. They said it was a 6-minute read. That's how big an article it was. That said California, Texas, Florida, New York, and the Midwest, the region of Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio, are all bracing. Their electrical companies are all bracing for what is supposed to be, according to the Farmer's Almanac, a hotter than normal summer. And they're all bracing for the blackouts and brownouts that will have to roll across this country as air conditioning use comes And then the Wall Street Journal goes, their exact quote was, if this is what happens with air conditioners, how are you going to add 2 electric cars to every household?
Right.
Which we've been saying.
Right.
We've been asking that question.
Yeah.
But now the Wall Street Journal's asking that question. I think the answer is you're going to see out of necessity that hybrid takes the day, not all electrical.
And that may be. Well, that may be. So let's see. Let's just think about. Let's ponder this for a minute. And let's look. I live in Ocala, Florida.
Right.
There is a new gas station
on every block.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now these gas stations. So I did a little bit.
Are they going to be obsolete in 10 years?
Not. They cost like $4 million or something.
Each one.
Each one.
Right.
So they have investors like Racetrack and Wawa. I guess they put it up, then they sell the property to an investor that gets to earn whatever 6-7% of interest on their money for the next 20 years. It's like guaranteed.
But they're going to be obsolete in 10 years.
Right. What happens in 10 years when there's not? I don't know, man. I'm just a small guy. Well, I'm a big guy with a small shop in Ocala, Florida.
Well, I think hybrid is probably going to make it's the best technology out there because it's been around now. The first hybrid vehicles came out in the late '80s. Yeah. Toyota finally perfected it in the mid '90s. So it's been hybrid technology has been around, and they've learned how to harness power and still make vehicles that are hybrid, just as power as a combustion engine is. Because you see a lot of these hybrid trucks and all now that are just as powerful. So, and being that 70 to 80% of the electric cars on the road are Teslas anyway, I think hybrid makes more sense.
It makes sense to me. I don't know more.
And it would still cut the oil, the gas intake considerably.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't use as much gas.
Right.
I mean, a hybrid F-150, I looked it up. A hybrid F-150 gets about 35 miles to the gallon.
Right.
A regular F-150 gets about 18 miles to the gallon. Okay, so it's almost double.
Okay, so now I drive a 2015 Chevy Tahoe.
Right.
Okay, that's my vehicle.
But not a hybrid.
No, but I have AFM.
Right.
AFM stands for Active Fuel Management. So my car goes from an 8-cylinder to a 4-cylinder. My Tahoe. My Tahoe is powerful enough. I pulled my camper. It pulls my boat.
As an 8-cylinder.
When it needs 8 cylinders, it uses 8 cylinders. And my average, if we walked out to my truck right now, and if I turned on the data, you would see that my average fuel economy in the full-size Chevy Tahoe, with the ability to pull anything that I own, I probably get 21, 22 miles to the gallon. So set aside electric, set aside hybrid, set it aside. And about, I think it was 1980, let's say 1984, 83, 84, the federal government mandated that all the manufacturers are going to have an average mile per gallon across the board.
Right.
Okay? So Chevrolet had the Corvette that, it just tanked their averages. So Chevrolet says, okay, well, we have the Corvette. People want the Corvette. It's America's sports car. So in lieu of the Corvette, we're going to make the Chevette. You remember the Chevette?
When people ask me, have you ever had an impressive car? I said, man, I had a Vet.
Yeah.
I had a 1986 Vet. A Chevette.
And the reason that Chevy came out with it was because the Chevette got 30 miles to the gallon.
Right.
And that offset the 7 miles to the gallon that the Corvette got.
And the Chevette was made by never mind.
But here's the deal. When you put your brains together and you get these geniuses, there's guys in these rooms that are way smarter than me, and when you put these guys together, they have the capability of making these cars. We went from an average of 11 miles to the gallon to 23 miles to the gallon
in a 2-year period.
Yeah, overnight, so to speak.
Yeah, I remember, and a lot of people say the big three, by taking their time to do it, is what allowed Toyota and Honda and Nissan. Then it was Datsun. You know. But you hear, Brad Pitt said in one of his movies, Datsun. But, it allowed those three to actually move in and get a lot of the market from the big three.
Absolutely.
Which caused partnerships, because now, there's partnership between Toyota and GM. There's partnership between Ford and Mazda.
Yeah.
There's all kind of partnerships.
All kinds of stuff out there.
I mean, if you go look at an old Chevy Love, remember the Chevy Love pup truck?
Oh, yeah.
You go look at that thing, you pop the hood on one of those. That's the first time that I remember that there was a partnership. You go pop the hood on that thing, Toyota everywhere. Yeah. I had a Dodge Ram D50, which was a little bitty truck. That's what I had in college. A Dodge Ram D50. I love my little Dodge Ram D50 because you could put that thing in reverse, or it was 5-speed. You could put that in the reverse gear, 15 miles an hour down the road. It just shake it to a stop, but it wouldn't tear that transmission up. You could do anything you wanted to it. Dodge everywhere. Dodge emblems. Dodge. The key said Mitsubishi. When you looked at the motor, Mitsubishi was on the motor. Everything.
Yep.
It was a Mitsubishi with Dodge emblems.
Right.
And they did that. My Dodge Ram was a 1985 Dodge Ram D50, but it was really a Mitsubishi.
Yep. And so if we wanted to, I'm watching this thing. I've been involved in this thing as far as the repairs and watching this whole thing evolve and all this. The one thing I've learned, especially in 1999 when we were going through the Y2K thing.
Yes.
Okay, so
world was going to end because computers were going to
crash,
shut down.
Yeah, because of the internal timers and all that. Well, that didn't happen. But this is what I did learn in that time, is that I've watched the manufacturers when it comes down to the science of all this stuff. They have the technology. They have the ability to do. If the government, since that time back in the 80s when the government said we're going to change fuel economy, we changed fuel economy like within 2 years.
Right.
Okay. They've never asked us to do this again.
No.
Because they know, I believe, and this is what I believe. I believe that they know that we could do it.
And big muscle cars have made a comeback. But they get great gas mileage.
Yeah, I know. I had a Hellcat.
Yeah.
For a month.
It gets great gas mileage.
Yeah, incredible gas mileage.
Right.
And 707 horsepower.
Right. Yeah.
And it goes really, really fast.
Really, really fast.
Yeah. No, I get it.
But with fuel injection, the technology has morphed so much that, there aren't I don't know, maybe there is, but I don't think there's any car like, I remember my 72 Nova had a Holly 750 on it.
Yeah.
That had barrels on the back of it. Looked like you could put an apple in. We don't have those anymore. It's all fuel injection.
It's all fuel
now
injected. That's it.
So they have ways to make cars. They've made cars fuel efficient.
And
they could do it. They could give us another 10, 15 miles.
Easy.
In just gas. Not talking about a hybrid or anything. Just in gas.
Gasoline. Absolutely.
They have the ability. But now my question is, how much of that ability is being stifled by regulations from the government?
Well, so my question is, where is this all stemming from? Okay, so right now when you buy a gallon of gas, back when I owned
$4.29.
Okay, but back when I owned a gas station, 58 cents for every gallon of gas you bought went into taxes.
Right.
For road. So that's what keeps our roads and all that stuff going. So here's the deal. At the end of the day, there's two parts to our government. There's the one part of our government that is for oil, and then there's a part of our government that's not for oil. And the part that's not for the oil seems to be, and I'm just going to say it because I can, it seems like it's more the Democratic side of the politics.
And right now they're in control of both houses and the White House.
Okay. And then you have the other side that is more conservative, and those are more of the Republican people,
But will drill in Alaska because they know that the caribou isn't going to hurt itself bumping its head on the pipeline.
So, need I really say any more? That at the end of the day, it becomes about politics and money.
But is the compromise between the two
to be
a hybrid vehicle? some oil, some electric.
That definitely makes sense. It makes sense. But the one thing that I've learned in the 56 years I've been alive, is that it's really not about what makes sense.
So it's not about what makes sense, which is a shame. But you're right, because the hybrid to me, and I looked it up to make sure that the hybrid, the F-150 hybrid, and that's what I'm going with, the Ford F-150 hybrid, gets great reviews in power, gets great reviews in its torque ability, its pulling ability, its campers, boats, whatever you need to do. It gets great gas mileage. It's in the 30-mile-an-hour range for gas mileage and everything. If you could do that in a truck, America's number one
selling truck.
Yeah, you hear Ford tell you that. And I know GM and has the same thing for Chevrolet, and they have it for GMC. And I know that Ford, Dodge has it for their Power Ram trucks and everything. And I look at it at trucks, because trucks, to me, are where gas mileage is still something that we don't care about.
Right.
If if you drive a truck, whether it's a diesel or a gas truck, just part of driving the trucks, you got to pay more for gas.
Right.
You got to do your gas bills more expensive.
That's right.
So if we can take the pickup truck's gas bill and cut it in half by it being a hybrid, that to me is the answer to all these problems.
Yeah.
And now I'm to understand, I read an article yesterday, they've developed Cummins and some of the bigger diesel companies have even developed hybrid diesel and electric 18-wheeler cabs to pull stuff, and that's looking to be a better option money-wise than converting or making them propane run and natural gas run. They're now making big trucks on the highway. They have the technology now where they think within the next 2 or 3 years they can introduce hybrids that'll still be able to go 65, 75 miles an hour and pull what they need to pull in big diesel trucks.
That's right. I mean, I look at the technology that's out there. And some people might struggle because I don't understand. I don't know about cars. I don't know about how they operate. But here's how technical we become, that we can make a craft. Right, we can take this thing and bolt it on a couple of rocket, put some rocket boosters, launch it up into outer space, and that sucker can come back and land, and we can send it back up again.
You're telling me we can't figure out how to make trucks and cars more fuel efficient?
Come on.
So my point, I was playing in the golf tournament Saturday morning, and the guy goes, we have enough tech. He brought that exact thing up. He goes, we have enough technology where you can run a car on half battery, half fuel. You can send a rocket up into space and then land it back down on a barge floating in the ocean. And because they were putting the tents up for the Mother's Day for 700 Stars, he goes, you telling me the best option for them to drive them spikes in the ground still is a sledgehammer? And I went, he's got a very good point there. Because they were out there and they had 3 of them side by side going, boom, 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 alternate with that sledgehammer, putting them spikes in the ground. Yeah. And he goes, we got electric and fuel-powered cars at the same time being powered by electric and fuel. We got rockets that can land on a barge in the middle of the ocean after it shoots up into space. And you're telling me the best technology to put a spike in the ground to hold a tent down is still a sledgehammer?
3 guys on a sledgehammer.
And I thought, he's right. There's got to be a better way to put a spike in the ground than a sledgehammer.
So at the end of the day, all boils down to one thing. It just boils down to power, greed,
Yeah.
And I mean, that's 2 things it boils down to.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. And politics.
Power is part of greed.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what the answer is, but I think hybrid makes the most sense.
We're sitting here in the studio, and I'm looking out, and they just pulled a, I don't know what kind of plane that is, but I'm looking at 3 jets right in front of our window,
and a helicopter that puts out fires.
Yeah, that's
They're not running any of these by batteries ever.
No.
Ever.
No.
So it's not like fuel's going away.
No, they can't. It's like, and I don't know,
Did you ever think and you know, we're the crux again, because I remember when hybrids first come out, people were like, what? The gas doesn't power the car. The gas just recharges the batteries that power the car. Well, that don't make any sense. Why don't you just use the gas to power the car? I remember that when I was because I was working for Gatorland Toyota for Adam Rollman. He Ghetto owns it now, but I was working for them. And when they talked about how the Prius was coming out, and it was on a 24-month wait, you had to order it, and it was 24 months where you could get it and everything. People, we'd try to sell them the Prius and all. And one lady distinctly in my office, she goes, well, why would you do that? Why would you use the gas to recharge the batteries to power the car? Hadn't gas been working to power the car all of its own? Needless to say, she did not sign up to buy a Prius.
Yeah, she probably
but
not one.
she was very in her, what she had said made all the sense in the world. But now hybrids are everywhere.
They're everywhere.
They're very good at what they do.
Yep.
And I mean, my old roommate Chad, he has a Prius. He's a travel nurse. He has a Prius. He loves it because his gas mileage is like 45, 50 miles to the gallon. That's something that he doesn't have to worry about anymore. Hybrids have come so far that I think EV's going to be, EV's going to be 50, 60 years from now, electronic vehicles will be everywhere.
Yeah.
And by the way, they are in a lot of places now. When I come back from, I was down south. When I come back, I was just counting cars just in an hour. I was in Orlando, coming back from Orlando. Just in the hour and 15 minutes, every time I saw a Tesla, I'd count. Yep. I saw 81 Teslas.
Okay.
So and I was looking for them, mind you. Right. But I saw 81 Teslas, most of them in the Orlando metro area.
Yeah, okay.
But so electric cars are coming, and EV, but technically hybrids are electric cars too.
Yeah.
I just don't ever see the oil. I don't see the oil industry bowing out gracefully and going away without something.
Right.
And hybrids may be that gap that gives you the the compromise. Although you're right, they have not shown any desire to compromise in the last 15, 20 years.
No, they don't want to compromise. And the thing, and what I see in all this, they're going to do what they're going to do. I mean, when the manufacturers are taking a stand to do what's going to happen, they're I mean, look at Volvo. I think by 2024, 23, 24.
24, they said they'll be all
electric.
GM and Ford both announced they'd be electric by 2035.
Okay, so that's.
But are they still going to sell gas options? That's the question. Are we going to have to bootleg? Hey, dude, come over, everybody. Look, in front of the shop, but back here behind the shop, I got a 1997 Ford F-150 6.2 diesel. Now, you can get that electric car out front, but this truck back here, now it's going to be a little pricey. It's going to cost you $175,000, but you can get it.
Right.
And then I know a guy that can get you diesel fuel for about $18 a gallon.
That's probably what it's going to look like, Tom.
Then the National Transportation Safety Board raids you like they do drug dealers.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in here illegally with diesel fuel.
Hey, I remember when we were changing over from R12 to R134A.
That was a big deal. The EPA.
Oh my God,
that was a big deal.
I know a guy he was hiding cans.
Oh yeah,
hiding cans of R12 and stacks of hay.
My buddy Robbie Turner up in Georgia, he went and he thought that they were going to outlaw it. He had a friend that said, "Oh, it's coming," and everything. He went and to every local parts store around the area. He bought like 500 cans of it and hid it in his barn and everything. He didn't hide it. He just put it up there. And then for years, whenever you wanted your air recharge, you went to Robbie's house because he still had the good Freon.
And so a lot of folks, and that's something that I got a couple of minutes left. So just understand, we've done that again. We no longer are using the 134 anymore. Where we can still buy 134. But right now it's gone to 1234 YF.
And 134 was $10 a can. 1234YF's $150 a can.
It's $1,000 for a 10-pound cylinder.
Yeah.
Well, 134 in R12, you buy a 30-pound cylinder.
Right.
These are 10-pound cylinders for $1,000.
It's going to be eventually it's going to eventually get to the point, and this is sad for you, although I don't think it'll be any time in your lifetime. It's going to get to the point where it's more cost effective to just every 4 or 5 years scrap your car and get a new one than it is to go get it worked on.
And it may be. And that's what the manufacturers want.
Of course, that's why it's going that way, because the manufacturers don't want you to take it to the shop. They'd rather you buy a new car.
I remember when I was working for one of the big three kind of guys. I remember going to Jacksonville where the GM Training Center is, and I remember Music Stewart was that was my instructor's name. I got to know him well. His philosophy, his job was to instruct us how to keep a car going at that particular time in the mid-'80s. The warranty was for 5 years, 50,000 miles, whichever occurred first.
Right.
That's all they cared about. That's all we were trained to do.
After that, they wanted you to buy a new car.
That's right. They don't care. And they figured it's going to take you about 2.5 to 3 years to put those miles on the car, and they want you to buy another car.
There's a reason cell phones offer you the deal where you can trade them in at 18 months a 24-month deal, because they make cell phones. All they worry about is for that cell phone to work for you till you get to your trade-in area.
That's it.
And then after that, they want you to come get a new phone. They don't want your phone to work past that.
They want you to keep making them payments every month for the rest of your life.
That way you don't have to – no longer do we have a 2-year contract. But your phone's going to wear out in 1.5 years, and you got to come in and get a new one. So
it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't. They could care less. Matt, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me at 1800 Northwest 10th Street right here in Ocala, or you can give me a call at 352-690-1993.
Matt Gibbs, talk to you next week.
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back after this timeout. You're listening to Ocala Talks on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Tim Berg.
The president will be addressing key issues such as inflation and how his administration plans to tackle it later on Tuesday. Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley believes that the Biden administration's policies are driving inflation.
He's responsible for this inflationary binge. He's the one who's given it to us. Gas prices have been going up for an entire 1.5 years now under him. There's a simple solution to this, by the way. Why don't we produce American energy?
That audio courtesy of Fox and Friends. The Biden administration is again allowing leasing sales for oil and gas drilling. The White House says the main drivers of inflation are supply chain issues, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Primaries taking place in Nebraska and West Virginia today. In West Virginia, former President Trump backed Representative Alex Mooney. This is USA Radio News.
If you're concerned about the power grid and want to generate your own supply of off-grid electricity, this will be the most important message you'll hear this year. Here's why. We now have a small number of solar generators back in stock. These emergency backup systems provide life-saving backup power when you need it most. And unlike gas generators, solar generators run quietly, emit no dangerous fumes, and produce an endless supply of free electricity from the sun. Whether it's wildfires, dangerous weather, power grid issues, or just getting off the grid, you'll never have to suffer through painful power outages again. Even better, all this week, radio listeners get over $700 in free off-the-grid bonuses too. Go to mysolarbackup.com to learn more and check availability. That's mysolarbackup.com. Look for the free report, Crisis Cooling, how to make absolutely sure your meat, milk, and medicines stay safe and cool in any power outage. Yours free at mysolarbackup.com.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully, because now there are new treatments available here. Not talking surgery or steroids. These are regenerative treatments from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics, now with offices in Ocala and the Villages. Hey everybody, this is Tom Schmitz. QC Kinetics is the leader in these exciting biological therapies that help restore and repair damaged tissues in your joints with lasting results. If you got pain in your knees, your shoulders, hips, back like I do, joint pain that won't go away, you need to check out these new treatments with astonishing patient satisfaction reports. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. That's right, no surgery. Don't go through another year with that awful joint pain, and don't let them put you under the knife. Call QC